What is up, guys? I just got diamond on another one of my accounts this weekend, and I wanted to go over how I got there, what I noticed, and what is really working right now. So I did start in Plat 5 on this account. I have said some of this in various different videos, but this is really just a concrete overview of what it takes to climb in Season 6. So like this video if you did, dislike it if you didn't, and comment with what you think of this season so far. Just before we start, you guys know I've been working with Pro Guides for a little while now, and they've just released this new feature which I think is really good, so I just wanted to mention it very quickly. Basically, they've recruited like a whole entire army of high elo players for this thing called Genius. You just ask a question 24 hours a day, and within a few minutes one of them will answer you. I do genuinely think this is a really clever idea. You guys ask me questions all the time. There's a trial if you want to try it out. You get all the other stuff as well, but let's jump into the video. First things first, roles. I'm an AD carry main, but to climb on this account I actually played mid, jungle, and top lane. Tanks with damage are so strong right now, right? Everyone knows that, and they're kind of the early to mid game powerhouse, I guess. You get a lead in lane or in the jungle, and then you snowball it and try and win. This is a great playstyle if you think you're better than the elo you're at, because you can beat your opponent 1v1, be aggressive, and have a very high impact in the game. Mid lane is also pretty strong right now. Well, actually, it's kind of strong all the time, right? They do well early and well mid game and well late game. As an AD carry main, I played a ton of Corki, basically the same mechanics, team fighting, and everything like that, but it's a 1v1 lane. You have a lot of pressure, and you can roam around to affect other lanes much easier. Roaming and ganking and stuff are way more effective this season than they have been, so that's the playstyle I went for. This next thing is something I've never really bothered to focus on before, like I've never really used it to climb before, but focusing on one lane or synergy was one of the main ways that I started to carry more. An obvious example was like in one game we had a Sivir AD carry, so I just ran through lane and got her to ult me in over and over, and we ended up snowballing from that. This is something that's really important, like sitting back and not doing much early isn't a good way to go in Season 6. Early game does matter more, lane matters more, and you can do more from early leads, so you need to have an idea of what you want to do, or at least like get yourself to do it. I played a few duo games with Foxtrot on this account, and because I was constantly like toppers no flash or tops pushing if you want it, and he had all this info, he ganked way more than he normally does, just because I was kind of putting the idea in his head or something like that, I guess. That's what you want to do though, just make sure you're actually making plays and doing something, being active on the map. So games are shorter, and overpowered champions because of that are kind of more effective, like they seem to be way more dominant right now. I just think it's honestly a better way to go right now. It's not like free wins or anything like that, you can play whatever you like, but it's definitely an easier climb this season. Most of these champions we're talking about are the type that kind of take over a game. They're very hard to deal with, and then once they get that lead early they just push towers, and we all know how much of a snowball Season 6 has become. It's kind of like you can apply your game knowledge and stuff, but on a champion that just naturally has a bigger advantage or bigger impact with their current strength. The other half of this though is like tanks and engage are just what matters a lot. It usually comes down to team fights, and that's where they shine. This is why like OP champs and stuff seem more effective, I think. It's because they are all doing this stuff anyway. Echo is a very good example. Like I played a lot of Echo. Yes, he does good damage. He's kind of busted, I guess, but the team fights where absolutely crushed were where I landed a multi-person stun with my W. This is the point, okay? Crowd control is amazing. I say this every single season, but even more now when the engage is more important. I think the key thing like with snowballing a game and stuff is the engage when you're ahead. You pick good fights, you be decisive, and you charge in. That is why I started playing like Echo so much, and Corki too. Like I can package in to start a fight and slow people, as Echo I can jump in, stun, dart around, and then ult out if I need to. It forces your team to do something. It kind of puts a lot of the control of the game in your hands, and as an AD carry I kind of struggled a bit when I like wanted to fight when we'd win if we engaged, but I can't be the one jumping in to start it. I also stopped dying so much. I know it sounds really weird, but every time you die it's basically something you've done wrong or could have done better. Obviously dying is going to happen, right? But you just have to learn from it. Like on Echo, a lot of the times I died were because I didn't press my ult early enough, I missed my W, or I just took a 1v1 I shouldn't have. But the more I played him, the less I did that stuff. This is why having like a small champion pool is also going to help a lot, but I talked about that a million times already, so I'm not going to do that in this video. Another question I get asked a lot is about dynamic queue. Is it actually easier? Should you do it? And it's kind of a yes and no. low. I played a few games as a 3-man pre-made and they were a lot easier for me personally. I didn't have to worry about as many people going AFK, or they're just like a few more plays I could make on the map. I did try a few 5-man games just to see what it was like, and they were not easier though. We played against a really try-hard 5-man teams a lot, and the game is completely different. So if you're going to go dynamic queue, I'd say 3 or 4-man is the best. Rotations is something that gets a lot of stick. It's like a meme almost, but it's kind of really important actually right now. Towers are easier to get, so moving around, even when you screw it up, even when you do it terribly, you can still get something. This is something I try to do a lot. So as an AD carry, if I got bot lane tower, I'd move up to mid. As a jungler, if I ganked, I'd try to take the tower or damage the tower while they were away. The way I thought about it was like, are we stronger right now? And if we are, let's just group and use it. This is something I've talked about a lot, but yeah, just move around the map more, surprise group and push, and you'll be surprised how effective it can actually be. This is like the #1 way I use to snowball a game. Now, something I haven't talked about a lot actually is comebacks are starting to be more of a thing. This is something I really noticed. Even in the games I was behind, we were able to come back a lot. So death timers and towers do not help really, but most of the popular picks right now are early to mid focus. So if you can hold on, then you'll just naturally scale better. It's weird because death timers are a good and a bad thing for this stuff actually. On the one side, it's bad because they can end earlier. One team fight around 20-25 minutes is enough to push a few towers or maybe even end. But it's still kind of true late into the game, I guess. Even if you're losing, if you win one team fight, the death timers are long enough for you to get something out of it. And winning these fights actually means a lot more. It helps come back more for sure because you can get something afterwards. The reason I'm pointing this out is because there are quite a few games where I was just like, okay, let's just sit back, not die, and we'll eventually come back into the game. And we did. It's not easy, but I think it's more relevant now. Season 6 has this natural stick for being like early push and just win the game, I guess, but there were definitely times where I actually actively thought, okay, we just have to hold on, and that's something that I wasn't doing at the start of the season. Anyway, this is all stuff that I used to get to diamond. This is basically how I did it in a nutshell, and that's some stuff you guys can really focus on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. A little bit different, I guess, but remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, and let's go to the robots to finish this off.